I hope this is streaming, I guess. Hello. I don't know how to give input for desktop sound. I have not muted it, but still. I don't think there is a sound actually. Yes, there is a sound at this point. Let's go, boys. Let's go. So this is all about cheating. This is all about cheating on kids in Scribble. Okay, so let me do this first. So I can do this. This is what eyelashes. Okay, not eyelashes. Let's go. I think I should change the room. Hmm. Damn shit. I'm hoping this hurdle. If this is about hurdle, boo bump first bump fist bump. Okay, fist B U M F E S T. Oh, our time is gone, boys. Our time is gone. Let's go. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Yeah, this is boring. Let's do something else. So we are going to talk about. We are going to do more research on this thing, which is yes, script.js. Is it recording? Yes, it is indeed recording. So we are going to talk about. In this video, we are going to talk about. Uh, closures. Yes, we are gonna talk about closures in React. Oh, sorry, in JavaScript. So, what is a closure? A function with its lexical scope is called as closure. For that function, obviously, for that function, that is something which is prevalent or true. So another thing, let's talk about. So let's deep dive into what is it. Let me show you first. Let me show you what is a closure. So let's just say we declare a function, okay, and this function's name is ev, okay, and this function contains a variable. Let's see, let a, which has a value of 10, and we have another function inside of this function. And this function is console logging this value which is declared outside of this function. So as if we have written any program, let's just say Java, you know that this function, if we log this function, sorry, if we call this function, if we execute this function inside of this is in the same function, and we call bc, what would be the output? What would be the output, my friend? What would be the output? The output would be, sorry, node script.js. The output would be 10. No problem. And we return this function as we can do that in Java, right? So if I do that, this means that this thing represents a function which is getting, it represents a function. This thing represents a function, and I just got to know that we can use this syntax also, which means I am executing a function that which is coming from this, which is this function, which is bc, right? So I am executing function bc here, and this is representing the function. This is a function expression. No, this is function. Yes, function expression function. No, before executing function, this is a reference for that function. Yes, this is a reference. Okay, and I am executing that reference over here. So this is also going to log us 10. No problem in that. I don't see any problem in that. If you have any problem in that, I don't know. You should consult a doctor or someone. Consult someone. No, you don't have to consult someone. Well, in my life around my, in my day life or so if you can't understand what I just wrote, memorize it. This is how it works, right? This is what programming is. If you don't know, this is how world works. If you don't know something, you memorize it. I am holding this value, let's just say BD. Okay, so executing this function will give me the function BC, but now I am storing this in a different variable. So this is a function which is BD. So BD is another function which holds the reference of this function. So if I execute this, okay, so if I execute this is going to give me 10. This is what we are doing in this. We are not holding that reference of that function which we are getting in return from AB. We are getting the reference of BC as we are returning inside of BD, as we are storing the returned value of AB, which is BC, inside of BD. So if we log BD, so if we execute BD, which is going to be a function which is referencing to BC, so the value we are going to get is 10. I think this is understandable, right? Moving ahead, so that as we can see that inside of function BC there is no variable declaration or initialization of A, but still we are able to access the value even outside of that function, right? We are just returning the function the reference, and we are not actually returning any other thing. We are just returning the function reference from the outer function of inner function, and we are still able to execute it outside even after storing the value inside of different variable, and we execute that as a function, we still get the value 10. This is what is called as closure. This means even after I have executed the outer function, I still have the lexical scope of that function BC, right? This is what closure is. And this is not at all, this is not just, this is the not the only thing which closure provides. So if you want to know how extensively it can work, or how what type of parameters that we are able to provide this and it is still going to work, for that you have to study the concept of lexical scope. हाँ भैया, लेक्सिकल स्कोप पढ़ोगी? कहाँ गई? हाँ भाई मिस्टी, आ जाऊंगे और बन की चाय. Lexical scope, guys, you have to study that if you want to deep dive in the concept of closure and the values that we can access inside of that closure of that for that function. You should study more about lexical scope, as we have the access of lexical scope inside of this. So if I try to log x, what would it give me? Let's see, guys. See, I have the value of 10. Even if this is not even included inside of right, it is not even the part of outer, but it is part of the global. This is an instance variable. If you have studied Java, this variable is declared inside not any function, specific function, and just inside of that. If we declare a function inside of class in Java, it is referred to as instance variable. It is as it exists inside of, as that function exists as an instance for that specific class, right? So in this case we have access of 9 even inside of this BC function, which is nested inside of another function. And even that x is equals to 9, which is a variable, is not even a part of function AB and not even a part of function BC. It is nested for the students. Even if I pass any value inside of parameter, let's just say this value. So I have to pass an identifier. I just can't pass any value. So if I pass any value inside of this, I can refer this as V, and if I log V inside of this also, we are going to have access for this, right? I have access of EV also. Even if I have passed this as an argument for that function, outer function, we still have access for that specific function, right? Specific value. This is what closure is. This is what closure is, right? As I told you, if you want to get the deep dive of what is how extensively a closure can work, you should study more about lexical scope, right? Okay, bye.